You're good, Meg. Okay. So, hey everybody, welcome to our August team call. Kara, would you mind going to the sites on Silver Thread and just making sure that all of them know that we are starting? It's so good to see everybody. This is my favorite call that we do every month, and I'm so excited to introduce our special guest in a minute. But I want to do a few housekeeping things really quick. I don't know if you guys saw, but I just posted on Rising Jewels that $15 rebate has been extended. It was planning, start over. It originally was going until the 5th, until tonight, but you guys have been killing it by sending out all these messages and getting all of these people into our 21-day challenge. And so I want to extend the gift. And so we are going to have the $15 rebate good for the next 2 days. So it will be over by end of night, Wednesday, the 7th. So if you have not had a chance yet to reach out to all of your inactive ambassadors, those who no longer order, or your partial PVers, please do so. I believe all of you are on our Gold Diggers thread and or our sites on Silver Thread. So we are sending out lots and lots of script ideas and examples. Of course, know that these are coming from us, and so they probably are not going to be exactly what you would say. So please make sure that you're sending these messages with your voice, because the last thing that we want is for people to think that we're being salesy and just copying and pasting. Okay, so that's one thing there. Make sure that once your people do get their products ordered, that you add them immediately to the 21-day challenge. That begins on Monday, the 12th. We are going to have a giveaway this week prior to the starting date. So we want to try to get as many people into the group and engaged as possible. The free codes, just as a reminder, we had over 90 people added to our team last month, which was beautiful and amazing. And that all 90 of those people, plus all the people that we signed in June, all got 3 free codes. Those codes expire on the 15th, I would assume at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we want to make sure that we are not letting those go void. We have so many people that we could bless with those. So let's make sure that you are reaching out to every single person that you signed, asking them if you can help them use them. That's our first priority. And if they don't want to use them, ask if you could borrow or if you could have them so you could bless somebody else with those 3 codes. If you have people in your downline who sign somebody and those people in your downline are not doing the business, then you guys still need to reach out to those people that they signed. So that way we can take advantage of those as well. And then lastly, I wanted to address very quickly retention. I know many of you are on our accountability calls where we do our weekly accountability, and we talked about this, I believe, was it last week? But I was able to go to corporate with Tamra, and I got to have a conversation with Michelle Minnick, and she ran our numbers. And one of the biggest things with our business is, one, growing our team, building our team, teaching duplication, and then keeping these people with us. And that's called retention. And you typically want to have a retention rate of about 80%. So 80% of your people that sign are still sticking with the products. Because again, this is not a quick fix. It's not a magic pill. So we have to make sure that we are constantly talking through the importance of patience and the importance of sticking with and committing to doing these products for at least 90 days. And Michelle was looking through our numbers, and she said that we have anywhere from 70 to 80% retention, which is okay. I mean, we're about where we need to be, maybe a little bit lower, but what that means is that we have to be intentional with the people we sign. And y'all, I'll tell you that with us having all of these free codes, I'm seeing that attrition, people leaving, a lot easier because they don't have any buy-in. They got these free codes, and so they're getting these welcome packs with great products at great prices and then not really being committed. And so when I was in Scottsdale, Genevieve, who is the director of something, I don't even know what she does, but she's a bigwig, and she was talking about retention. And I shared this last week, so I think repetition is okay. But she was talking about retention. And she said, retention, retention, retention. That equals relationship, relationship, relationship. She said, that's all you need to know. People are going to stick with this, with the relationships. And so Emily Gibson, we have this on our team page. Emily Gibson has a great layout for 4 points of contact within the first month of signing somebody. And I will be the very first to admit, I am really bad at staying in touch with my people once a week for the first month that they're with us. I've been really bad at that. But what I've started to do is write their names. Whoever I sign, I will write their names on my calendar. So that way I know every week I need to go and make sure that I've reached out to that person, those people, every week in August. So I want to encourage you guys to remember that you hear this phrase or this analogy a lot, that network marketing is like filling up a bathtub. You've got the running water, but a lot of the time you've got that drain that's open. And so you may be filling your tub with a lot of people, but if you are not retaining them, you're filling that tub and it's draining just as fast. And so we have to make sure that we are really focused on retention and relationships. And just as a reminder, if you have somebody, even if you have free codes, if you have somebody that comes to you and says, hey, I'd like to try these out for like a month, or sure, I'll try these products, but I'll probably just do the slim or the pink drink after, or I'll probably just buy the chewables after. Do not sign them as an ambassador. The ambassador, wholesale ambassador, is for people who are wanting to order 100 PV or more. So for example, I have a girl who signed up in June. She got in touch with me today for a number of reasons. She's decided that she's going to cancel her account, but she asked me, she said, can I still buy the Pro Bio with my wholesale account? And I just point blank said no, because I knew that she got a free code. So she did not spend $40 to get this wholesale ambassador position. And I simply just said, for wholesale ambassadors, it's for people who are committed to buying 100 PV a month. And if you're going to be at the Pro Bio, I'm going to help downgrade you to a preferred customer. You're still getting a discount, but that's, just so you know, like that's what wholesale ambassadors are for. So I feel like that's important for us to remember. And if you have people who are only going to be buying a little bit, they're hesitant, they're saying they can't afford it, and they just are maybe going to try it for a month, do not sign them as an ambassador. Set yourself up for success, set them up for success, save that code for somebody that's going to be blessed by it and use it for months. Okay, does anybody have any thoughts or any questions before we move on to our sweet, beautiful friend, Sarah? Okay, so I had go ahead, Kara, go ahead.
I just kind of wanted to follow up a little bit on retention. I was watching Ashley Kinsel's story just that she did 22 hours ago. And I don't know, that's maybe backwards, but I'll read it. And someone asked her a question. I'm struggling with retention. Sorry, I got a phone call. Okay. How do you stay consistent? And she said, connection, connection, connection. People leave people, not products. My business was most unhealthy when I was most focused on just adding instead of creating meaningful, genuine connections with my whole downline. So I saw that and I was like, oh, I'm going to follow up with that.
I love that. And that's all about relationship. And it can be really overwhelming. If you sign, 3, 5, 10 level ones in a month, that can be really overwhelming, but it is what it is. That's part of our job. We have to make sure that we're really focusing on duplication and retention. If you guys haven't listened to Abby Kappa's podcast, it's the part 2 of In the Trenches. You guys need to go listen to that. It's so, so good. Okay, so I am so honored and so excited to introduce our sweet friend, Sarah. I got to meet Sarah and her husband on the cruise back in October, and she just was so sweet. I don't even really remember how we connected, but we somehow met, and I knew Ashley Kinsel, who is her upline. So Sarah is Ashley's level 2, right? You're her level 2. And so we connected that way. And she was talking about going Emerald. And she was talking about how she was really nervous. She was a senior Ruby, but just like looking at her, I was like, oh my gosh, girl, you are so going to go Emerald any second. Like, you don't even need to worry about this. So she was very organized, very well prepared, and very serious about what she was doing. She went Emerald in 21 months. She's a pastor's wife. I'm going to let her share her story, but I shared some of the questions that you guys asked with Sarah. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it off to her so that way she can share her story and answer some of those questions. Go ahead, Sarah.
Hey, you guys. Well, I feel so honored to be sharing with you guys tonight. And I love Emily. And the reason we met is because I was fangirling over her. So I saw her talk at convention and I was like, oh, she's awesome. And we were in, Emily and I both won the shopping spree. And so if you won the shopping spree on the cruise, you got to eat in this like fancy dining room that no one else got to eat in, but like besides the Plexus CEOs. So super fun. And I saw her and her husband there and I was like, hi. Anyway, but yeah, so I love your leader. I think she's awesome. I have stalked her Facebook page for a long time, and I always say for posts and get post ideas. She's awesome, and I love getting connected with her. And y'all are awesome for adding 90 people last month. That is incredible. That's huge. But yeah, so I am so excited to share my story with you guys because Plexus has completely changed my life. Completely changed my life. So before Plexus, my husband was a worship and youth pastor. We were living in Virginia Beach. I was pregnant with my son and desperately wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, but just it was something we financially could not do. I was working as an events coordinator at a Christian nonprofit. And when we got pregnant, we were trying to figure out things, and we realized we could get a smaller house and pay less in rent, and then we would I would be able to go part-time. So we did that, and I just kept praying for a way that I could stay home. And I can remember like sitting on the bed with my baby after he was born and going like line through our budget and just like crying because it just felt hopeless. Like there was just no way we could do it, and we needed like an extra $1,000 just like bare minimum. Like we weren't living above our means or anything, and we just couldn't do it. And so I kept looking for things that I could do that I could stay home, and was really anti-network marketing. I didn't think people made real money. Anybody that I knew that was doing network marketing was like, I took my kids out to ice cream. Thanks for my network marketing job. And I'm like, I mean, it's really sweet, but I want to stay home with my baby. Like, I'm not trying to get ice cream. Like, I need to make real money. And so Ashley Kinsel was, I knew her from the college we went to. Her and my husband and I had actually sang together before, but I've never actually met her. And so a bunch of people on our team all went to the same college, to Liberty University. And so started seeing some people that I really trusted share about Plexus, knew right away that I really needed the products. Didn't have any like crazy health issues, but just lots of different health, like small things that I thought were normal. And so I knew right away that I needed the products. But I also noticed that the people that were doing this were making real money. And so we had been couch shopping and we could not afford a new couch. So we had to buy a couch off Facebook Marketplace. And I remember Ashley posting about buying a new couch. I'm like, I know how much a new couch costs. Like that. I just remember that really stood out to me. And so I tried the products for a month and I quit. I loved them and I felt really great, but I thought this is in my head. Like there's no way. I was a total skeptic. And so I ended up quitting and then took 6 weeks off. I just kept praying like, Lord, is this what you want me to do? I don't want to be that person. I had all this fear about it, but I just kept feeling like if I don't do this, I am going to miss out. And that's what the Lord just kept bringing back to me. And so I also missed the products. Like I felt the difference being off the products. And so 6 weeks later, I signed up July 13th, 2017. So I just celebrated 2 years with Plexus, and I had found one stick of Slim left over from when I had ordered before, and I mixed that thing up, put on some pink lip gloss. I'm like, take my picture, honey. And I wrote Plexus Ambassador on the photo, and it was a terrible first post. But I didn't even like to share it with my upline. I just went for it. Like I went all in. And so I was on a team call that night, and I just went running. So I'm like, you know what? This is a thing that's going to allow me to be a stay-at-home mom. And so I would work late at night. I was working part-time at the time. And so would just work when I could, mainly like late at night. I would put my baby to bed and stay up to like midnight working. And so yeah, I went all in. I would listen to training videos on the way to work. Whenever I was doing stuff, I just was always trying to learn more and learn more. And 8 months later, so kind of a crazy story. Senior gold was what I could do to be able to quit my job. And the same time that I hit senior gold, the Lord ended up moving us from Virginia to Illinois. And so instead of having, to find a new job here in Illinois, I got to be a stay-at-home mom. And so that was a huge blessing. And part of the reason I had started Plexus, and then it kind of shifted because our house in Virginia did not sell, and we had bought a house in Illinois. And so it went from, allowing me to be a stay-at-home mom to keeping me to be a stay-at-home mom and not go into debt. So kind of like through my Plexus journey, though, I want to share just like a couple big things that kind of helped me through this to kind of give you guys some things to take away. So fear is a huge part of my story because I had a ton of fear. I had a lot of fear about sharing about money. Just being a pastor's wife, I thought if I share about money, like what are people going to think about me? I'm going to be greedy. And I just had all these insecurities about the money part of things. And so that was something the Lord had to really like work in me. And I know you all probably know Jordan Roddenberry, but I save all her posts. I'm like, Jordan, I need help. Am I even saying her last name right? But can you guys, Emily, are you frozen? Can you guys hear me? Yes. Okay, great.
Yeah. You're great.
Because that is not me. Like I am a yellow blue. Like I don't have any red in me whatsoever. And so to share about that, I had a lot of fear. And so I had to really work through that. Even though that's what drew me to the business, I had to work through that. And when they say this is like personal development with a comp plan, like that is so true because that is so part of my story. And so I don't know it all. I still don't know it all. I'm pretty sure I will never know it all. But I just keep on learning, and the Lord keeps growing me in this business. And so that was one thing I really had to get over, that fear and become more bold in sharing. And so probably about when I hit senior gold, it was about 8 months later. So that was like around March was when of 2018, I started sharing more about the business and sharing more about the opportunity. And so my team started growing from people that, just product users, for more people that were interested in the business and getting more people to share. And so my team started to grow more. And at that same time, I started working on my Instagram. And so starting to feel like my network was drying up a little bit. And since we just moved somewhere new and my husband was a pastor, I didn't want to move here and be like, buy Plexus. So I started feeling I needed to find another outlet. And so I started growing my Instagram account. And that the Lord ended up using to show a whole other fear that I had. Was in sharing myself and being vulnerable on social media. And not that you have to share all your dirty details. I just kept thinking, well, what do I have to share? Like, I'm just a stay-at-home mom now. I have, my little son. What's so special about my life? And there's this training that Bob Heiling does. I don't know where it is. If I find it, I'll send it to Emily. But he talks about having like 3 to 5 things that you share about that are inspiring people, either like they're encouraging or it's educational, it's entertaining, it's, everything that you add, everything that you put out there on social media has value. And so I was like, okay, what are my things going to be? And so before I had my son, I was a runner, and I decided to get back into running. And I ran a half marathon last summer. And I love running, but I kind of needed that push. Like I needed to find a hobby outside of Plexus and taking care of my toddler. And so if you feel like, okay, what do I have to share about? One, you all have a story. The Lord has given you each a story and has given you things that only you have. And I love what John Maxwell talks about, the talents and gifts are things that he has given you. And so by sharing those with others, it's not like you're bragging, it's you're giving the glory back to him because those are gifts and talents that he has given you. So just encourage you guys to think of 3 to 5 things. And if you don't have one, go get a hobby. It's good for you anyway. Making sure the baby's not crying. Okay. So I started running, I started sharing about that. And that has really encouraged me in my personal development side of things and sharing about myself. And that's been, honestly, has really blessed me because it's given me a lot of confidence. And so I know it's scary when you start sharing more of yourself, but when you get to see it add value to someone's life. And I'm always adding people on Facebook. I don't even know a lot of them. And a lot of my people on my team are people that I don't actually know, but they're friends with my husband from high school or my mother-in-law. If we've got mutual friends, you're going to be my friend too. And, but I'm like, even if they don't buy Plexus, I know what I am sharing on my other things besides Plexus is going to bring value. And even my Plexus post is going to bring value. I mean, hopefully they buy my probiotic, but if not, hopefully they'll get on one. So that was one of the other fears I had to get over, was just sharing about myself, and just knowing that I had a story. So third fear was leading my team. So since I joined this and I felt so confident in sharing about the products, but not the business, I had a really big fear about sharing or leading my team. And so my upline had a team chat and I added my people there. And I thought, well, she's doing her thing in there. What do I have to share about them? And Ashley Kinsel called me last July and she's like, okay, Sarah, what's your daily mode of operation with your team? And I'm like, I don't have one. And she's like, I can tell. And if you guys have ever had one of those hard conversations with your leader, but they kind of suck in the moment, but they're also so good because that's where you grow. And so as you're leading your team, it's such a blessing just to stand up and be bold and to have those conversations with them in love. I know it's changed me so many times when Ashley's been like, hey, and I'm like, okay, thank you. I needed that. And so that really inspired me to start stepping up. And so, starting my own team chat and just starting to build those relationships. Like Emily said, retention is relationships. And I didn't really know my business builders. I didn't take the time to get to know them because I was like, I'm doing my thing. I'm adding people. Y'all do your thing. And we'll do our thing separately. But the community part is what you miss out on so much. And so I know you guys, have an amazing upline, but taking that leadership stance and leading your own team, and then that way your team has somewhere to step into as well. Because I feel like if there's that gap there, then if you're not stepping up, then where are they going to step up to? So that was something that I had to grow in, and then also realizing that I had things to share with them that were of value. And so y'all, that's when I say Plexus has changed my life. It's not just the business and the products, but growing me as a person and growing me as a mom and a wife and encouraging me as a pastor's wife and relationships, life-changing. Okay, so started leading with the business. I hit Senior Ruby in last August, and then realized I need to start working on silvers. And so, our team was growing. We had some silvers. The month I went Senior Ruby, we had a few people go gold and a few people go silver, but really realized we were lacking on that duplication piece all across the board. So from January till now, that has been a huge focus on our team. And our team has now up to my personal silver rate is 20%. And that's what I was just talking to one of the business coaches. If that's what you really want on your team is about 20% silver ratio. The higher, the better. But a couple things that have helped us in developing silvers is one, sharing about the opportunity. Every single person I sign up, letting them know what they can make with the enhanced fast start silver bonus. I tell everyone, hey, you may or may not be interested in this, but when you sign up as an ambassador, you get a complimentary website. You can actually make $422. Well, this month, $522 in your first 14 days, just with having 3 friends do this with you. Have you thought about anyone that could be your accountability partner? Or have you ever thought about sharing? Just always end in some kind of question. And then going to people that love their products and seeing if they want to get their products covered. So that has been a huge shift in our business. Okay, so last thing is what I'm learning now. So the cool thing, I don't know if you guys have this as well, but I'm sure you do, but I've just learned in seasons. This business has been seasons where you could have told me about something beforehand, but some things just don't click, and as you're growing. And my Ashley Kinsel went emerald in 7 months. It took me 21 months, and it might take someone else 10 months or 3 years. Everyone's journey is so different because it is so much about personal development. So you can't compare your journey to anybody else's because we all have our own personal development pieces that we're going through. And so the last couple of things that I have really been learning and working on is mindset. Do you guys know Preston Pugmire? Anybody have heard of him? Okay, he's awesome. He's got a podcast, Next Level Life, and I've been listening to that and just realizing this business is so simple. It's just sharing with people, and people will buy your passion more than anything else. And so if you don't have like the belief in yourself and the belief in the products in this business, then they can feel that. And so if you struggle with mindset at all, even if you don't, we all need it. So I have loved his podcast and just being more aware of where my mindset is and making sure that I've got the belief part. And because your team, like, you're going to need to elevate them up and help them have that belief in those moments when they're down. Customer care, Emily, everything you were saying about customer care, I'm like, yes. If you guys have not watched Brooke Hemingway's Gold Mastermind on, I think it's called Gold Mastermind. But there's like 4 series on YouTube. So good on customer care. And yes, on the relationship part, like the people that I signed last month, I was just texting with a girl before this, and I'm like, if it was a month before, I would have lost her. But this month I have focused on building a relationship with the people that I've been signing. And so we're talking about the products. I was asking her about her job and an apartment that she was trying to find. It was a girl from high school. We weren't even friends in high school. And if I hadn't taken the time to ask her some other questions beforehand, I would have never known to even ask her those questions. So now we're building a relationship, and I'm helping her on her product. She hasn't really seen many results yet. And so I probably would have lost her if it wasn't for that. We're building this relationship and we're talking quite often. The last thing that I have been working on is leading with the business. I'm obsessed with training calls. So another recommendation for y'all is Fraser Brooks. Emily Gibson did a call with him. It's like a 20-minute phone call. I just read his book. It's called Dare Something. Fraser Brooks, look him up on YouTube. He's awesome. Have you heard of him, Emily? Okay. Yeah. Awesome stuff. So, there's always something that you can be learning in this business. And that's what I'm like obsessed with, is that you're never just stagnant. And if you are, then get your booty into action and find something to be learning, because there's so much to learn and we're never going to arrive in it. Okay. So kind of wrap up my story, went through all of that. So April was when I hit Emerald. I was due with our second son, and we're still paying 2 mortgages for like just making ends meet. Like, it was really, 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 really tight. My husband sold his truck. We became a 1-car family because we had to pay bills, and thankfully we never went into debt. But my goal was like, I need to hit Emerald before this baby comes. So I was due May 3rd. And so 3 weeks before the baby came, or 3 weeks before we hit Emerald, our house in Virginia sold. The house in Virginia sold. I hit Emerald. Baby comes 6 days later, 5 days later, whatever it was. And then we've got a second car. So like now we're a 2-car family with 2 little ones. I get to be a stay-at-home mom. I went back to work when my son was 8 weeks old. I don't have to take my son to daycare. I don't have to take him to a babysitter. I don't have to pump like a crazy person. My life is completely changed. We're dreaming. Like, we actually have hopes and dreams of what we can do in the future, where before we just never thought, like, I never thought we would go to Disney World. We haven't been in Disney World yet, but I have a hope that one day we can actually afford to take our kids to Disney World, where I literally thought the only way we are ever going to Disney World if some miracle person wants to take us there, like, and pay for it, because we can't do that on our salary. And I mean, that's just one little dream, but I mean, there's so many things that we're able to dream about now and have hope, and getting to be part of helping other people find financial freedom, health freedom, personal development. Oh my goodness, life-changing. I would never have taken the time to do personal development if it wasn't for Plexus. So life completely changed, and you guys have such a gift in getting to share that with people. So that's kind of it. I would love to answer any questions though. I think I hit all the questions, Emily. I don't know.
Yeah, that was great. I do want to ask you, okay, so when you sign your people and you share with them about the opportunity and you tell them about the enhanced fast start and all that, if they say, yeah, I'd like to hear more about that, do you mind sharing with us kind of like how you go about leading them in that?
Yes, definitely. Okay, so there is a file. Brooke Hemingway did it. I know it's on the Plexus Ambassador community page when she did that call. That was awesome. I don't know. It was like last winter. I can send it to you guys. But it's like how to develop a silver. And Brooke Hemingway helped corporate put it together. But it's like the different ways they want to go, either get their products covered if they want to run. And I literally just go through that. I'm like, okay, we're going to make your first post. Okay, you made your first post. Now we're going to message everyone that liked and commented on that. Okay, now you made your first post. Now you reach out to those people. Let's do a launch party. Okay, you did that. Let's make your list of 100. Okay, here's a message to craft. And it's just I just walk them through each step. And so it's pretty simple, but it just takes a lot of hand holding and accountability. And some people are going to be easier than others. Like some people, they're like, yes, let's do this. And it's, so fun. And then other people, you're like, please text me back. But yeah, I can feel
is that the one where like you pick the pace? Like they want to walk, they want to jog, they want to sprint. It's the 3-pace one.
Yeah, I'll message you. It's probably what you're thinking.
It's in our team page, I'm pretty sure. But
okay.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I know exactly which one you're talking about. So if you have somebody that's like, yeah, I mean, I'd be okay for you to do an event for me, or I don't want to work the business, but I would like to get my products paid for, and they're willing to do a little bit, like they're willing to do maybe one post and they're willing to do an event, but then they don't really want to do more because they don't want a business. How do you guide those people? Or do you have a way? I mean, that's so difficult.
Those people are so hard, and I feel like I've lost a lot of those people. And I think what I've learned is that I have to treat and it's more work, but like I feel like I have to treat their people like my own level ones. Because if I haven't gotten them like bought in, then a lot of times they don't take care of their customers and the people that they sign up. So at least that's been in my case. I would say for the most people that I have that want to get started, they're interested in more, like getting their products covered is just a start. They're usually interested in a little bit more, but for the handful of people that I have that just want to share when they want to and get their products covered, I need to do a little more hand holding with the people they sign up and look at them more as just like, those are people I would not know if it wasn't for them. And so I just have to tap root into their organization. Like I'm Ashley Kinsel's level 2 and her strongest legs. So you never know who might be that person under them.
So with you being Ashley's level 2, sorry, this is the last question I'll ask. Sorry, I'm monopolizing the time, guys. But with you being Ashley's level 2, first question is, does your upline do a business too?
Yes.
Kind of?
Yes. Yeah, kind
of. So like you were saying, when you started, you just did a ton of training and you just hit the ground running. Like, was your person holding your hand and telling you what to do, or were you just a self-starter and you just learned as you went?
No, Ashley and my upline were both like very present helping me. I definitely would say that they were helping with messages and screenshots. But I also, like when I started, I was never like, if this works, like I was like, I'm doing this. I honestly have never once thought about quitting Plexus, because the day I started, I drew my line in the sand. Like I told Ashley the day maybe it was the day I started before I signed up. I can't remember. I'm like, I will be in Hawaii. I thought I would be in Hawaii that next year, and it took me another year to go there. But that's okay. But the day I started, that was me drawing my line in my sand. So maybe you have thought about quitting, and that's okay. But I feel like if you're back and forth, I don't know. I feel like you have to draw your line in the sand though to actually really move the needle and move your company, move your business forward, because people just feel that. People can feel that in your attitude and your passion. So
yeah, we have a phrase that Abby Kappa actually shared on our team on a call for us back in September. And she was just talking about like, you can't have a back door. And I feel like I personally have really like held on to that phrase, because that's so true. I mean, because if we have a back door and if we have that attitude of, I'll just see if I'm meant for this, if I could do this. Well, no, this is a hard job. Like, this is a very difficult job. It's so challenging. And so I think that's why it's so important for us to figure out with our new people who are wanting to do the business, what is your why? Like, you have to figure out and have a clear why. Because if you don't, and you're like, well, I'd like to make a couple extra bucks. Like, there's a girl on our team who's amazing, but her whole why was she just wanted to make a little extra spending money. and she got to gold, and then she stopped, like totally quit. And I think it's because she just didn't have a why that really drove her when it got hard. And so I think not having a back door and having a solid why, I think, is the most important step that we have to take with our people. And then all the other stuff is simple. Like, it's difficult and it's challenging, but this is a job. And so you can't expect it to be easy, but it's simple. I think we really have to figure out people's why and have them dive deep with their why too.
Yes, totally agree.
Does anybody have any other questions? I don't want to monopolize the time. Does anybody have any other questions for Sarah? I know that one question was from Carly, and she'd asked about being a pastor's wife. I know that you had mentioned, like, it was hard for you talking about money. So you may have kind of addressed that, but like, did you get any pushback from any of your church people? If so, how did you handle that? And Carly, if I didn't ask the full question, you jump in.
So, I did not get pushback. I don't know if it was because I was already working, but I didn't get pushback, and people knew that I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom so bad. And lots of people in the church were praying that I would be able to be a stay-at-home mom, and because they just knew that was so on my heart. But I know, like, since we moved to a new church, when we came to the new church, I had a lot of fear, like, what are people going to think? Are they going to think I'm just coming to share Plexus? And what are they going to think when they start seeing my posts and they ask my friend on Facebook? And I started Julia Cartier because her husband used to be in ministry. She's a diamond with Plexus. And she said when her husband was in full-time ministry, if someone like from their ministry came to them and said, hey, let me talk to you about Plexus, she said, yes, I would love to, like, let's go get coffee, or make it more personable in the way that they would chat. But she would not reach out to people. Like, she would not cold message people about Plexus if they were in the church. And so when she told me that, I really took that to heart. And I've had people, join my team from the church, and it's been awesome. Just with his position in the church, that has kind of worked for us. So.
That's amazing. We were in Mexico in February with a pastor's wife, and she had just moved. Her name's Kim Fredrickson, I think, Kim Berger Fredrickson. And she had just moved to their new church as well. And that was her same thing, was that she didn't approach people about it, but she shared, and they would see, as they became friends on social media, they would see her story. And then they would also physically see her as she was changing, her health was changing, and her mentality was changing. And then they would come to her, and that just built a lot of trust too. But I think that's so fortunate, because there are a lot of people who have dealt with a lot of really hard things, especially like through the church and with this. And so I'm so thankful that you haven't had that.
Yeah, no, I have heard lots of stories, and it can be hard, but I think when it comes down to being about relationships, like you were saying beforehand, like, that can make such a difference. Like, I know even for me, I was at the pool with a friend who we've been here for a year and a half, and she works nights as a nurse. And I just prayed before we went out. I'm like, she was just on my heart about the business. I'm like, Lord, this is for her. Just like open up the door. And she said something about my business. I'm just like, have you ever thought about it? We ended up having an awesome conversation. She signed up last Tuesday. Has already signed like 6 people. She's crazy. And so that was just like learning how to make it more just personal conversation, because I mean, if she said no, it wouldn't have been weird because of the way I asked it, and we were face to face. I wasn't just messaging her randomly like, hey girl, do you want to do this business with me? It was, it went with the way that our relationship was. So maybe even more that with the way, if it's like in a church and your husband has some kind of status where it's just kind of more of you bring it up naturally. But
that answered my question, but kind of also in part with that, I was more also wondering, like, I was leery, and I reached out to someone else in Plexus at a different sister church, like about bringing up like the CBD oil. I was really nervous about that, like in a church setting, or people that I go to church with seeing me post about it, and everything like that. So I don't know if you've addressed that or anything like that, but that was a big kind of like nervous point for me.
I haven't had any issue with CBD oil yet, but but our pastor is a power lifter. So I'm pretty sure he does CBD oil. He's like super insanely, his arms are like enormous. So I think that, I don't know, maybe I have a covering because of him being so into fitness.
I totally understand what you're saying, Carly. I still haven't shared about it. I actually got my free hemp oil and I was like, oh, I'm scared to take this. So, I mean, I just think it's a matter of us like being educated. And if you don't, this is me, this is probably not something that Plexus would recommend, but if you don't feel comfortable, if you are not educated enough to where you don't feel comfortable to share it yet and you feel like it could hurt what you're doing, then don't do it. I haven't shared anything about it because I don't feel comfortable even right now. Like, I don't understand it yet. So I think you lean into where like you feel at peace right now, because there's so many other incredible products that we have. So educate yourself a little bit more on it if that's what you feel you need to do. Does anybody else have any questions or any thoughts?
Hey, it's Kylie. I was just going to ask if you had addressed the question I had asked earlier. I had to put my son to bed, so I didn't know if you could go back through it.
You had asked about
if she focused on silvers and.
Yeah. So she talked a lot about that too. And so I'll
check the recording then.
Yeah, but that was something that she talked a lot about. But Sarah, you go ahead and answer if you want to, but yeah.
Yeah, all I will say is I started focusing on silvers in January and our team exploded. So yes, go for silvers.
I seem like just personally, I didn't honestly get into this for the business in general, just because of being a healthcare professional. And so just making sure that I'm not like compromising my credibility of if they're like, oh, well, she's a PT. If this is what she says, then this is what I'm going with. So I have to be very clear about where I'm sitting, and that they're separate. It's, I have a knowledge for the medical background, but I'm not recommending it as my profession. So I have to be careful. But I do have people that, they continue to say, well, I'm not in it for the business. And I'm almost kind of still doing them as ambassadors because I feel like I initially wasn't in it for the business either. And then as Kara actually kind of made me have an epiphany of like, oh, okay. So she said, you're a PT and you help people every day and you get paid for it. How is this any different? And I'm like, that's very true. I get it now. And so I get where I'm coming from on the business side. And so I kind of have the same hope of like them kind of having that epiphany of being able to help other people and still make a living per se. I don't know if that helps as far as pushing them to silver, because I don't like pushing people per se in that direction. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, that does. And I know, I don't know if you've seen Brooke Hemingway's video on people in the medical field doing Plexus and like kind of her recommendations with breaking up that time. But the one thing with silvers too, like if they have someone who is a silver, their retention rate's like 85%. So they're going to stay on the products longer, which is better for them, and they're going to get to help people. So even if they're not interested in a business side of things, just to keep them happier and healthier on their products.
And I think it's really easy to shy away from sharing about the opportunity, just for fear of like, you don't want to push people to do something that they don't want to do. But the fact of the matter is that like, I mean, there's so many people who go to bed at night so flipping stressed about finances that are praying for a way to stay home with their kids or to go to the grocery store without stressing out. And so it's like, you cannot prejudge. And that's what Brooke Hemingway talks about all the time. Like, you cannot prejudge and like kind of pick and choose who you're going to share this with, because you have no idea who needs this. You have no idea. Like Brooke Hemingway's husband is a physician, and you would think, oh, she doesn't need this, but financially she doesn't need this, but she needed her husband to be home. She was raising 5-6 kids by herself because her husband was working all the time. And so I love that, like, share the opportunity. And that's what Sarah talked about, is that she, from January till now, she has shared the opportunity with every single person. Yeah, Megan, go ahead, girl.
So with a lot of my product takers, like I have a few pretty faithful product takers who are ambassadors, who are at least on the triplex. And I've brought it up multiple times, like, hey, I'd love to help you get your products for free. And like nobody wants to do it. I've had a girl almost a year and she like doesn't want to do it. And a lot of people come back to me saying like, oh, well, I don't want to sell, or I don't want to work the business. And I'm like, oh, well, it's not really working the business. You're just sharing with 3 friends or family members. And like, I cannot get anyone to get like selling out of their mind. Is that something that you have been able to like overcome with different wording or something? Yeah, I think that's a really good place to look at, like, okay, what wording am I using? Because I think sometimes people do think like, oh, well, I don't want to do what you do. I don't want to post every day. I don't want to run a business. We do a silver challenge twice a month in our group, and that has been really helpful because like I just left a message for a friend who's been on the products 2 years and just said, we have a 7-day challenge. It's like 20-minute activities to help you get your products covered. I know you love the products so much. I would love to take that financial burden off of you. Just with sharing with, 3 people this month, you can make $275. I do always try to tell the number to them because I feel like people think products covered, they're going to get, free product or something, but that they're actually going to get cash. And maybe just digging deeper too in what is going to motivate them. But I've had so many people tell me no, and then they come back later and then they're ready to get their products covered. So, when you do have someone say that they, like, oh, I'm feeling so amazing today. My sugar cravings are going away. Oh my goodness. You should share that and just celebrate that with them, or say, can I share that in a post? Or, and there starts to see, oh wait, I do have value in what my story is. And maybe I could help somebody, and kind of building that belief into them. So I don't know if that's helpful.
Well, and just like Sarah was saying with Ashley, like Ashley shared about a sofa, a new couch that they were able to buy. And that is what made Sarah want to do this. And I can tell you right here on this call, Carrie and Christine were both on the products for a year. And I would talk to them about, I would love for you to do this. I really think you'd be amazing. And they wouldn't do it. But then I don't have any idea if it was because of me and my posting. I know for a fact with Christine it was, but I continued to share about the business and continue to share about the opportunities. So I would encourage you to do that too. Make sure that you're evaluating what you are sharing about. Are you just sharing about the products, or are you also sharing about the opportunity? So that way people will know that, yeah, this is not just your mama's Tupperware network marketing party. Like this, like you can make really good money with this. Carrie said it was definitely the opportunity you shared, Emily. So I think just the consistency, like I know with Christine, I shared about how we were able to pay for our windows, our brand new windows specifics. And she's like, oh yeah, see Christine, yep, windows for your whole freaking house is what she said. So I think you just have to make sure that you are being consistent. Even if you're only right now making $50 a month, that's still $50 extra. I mean, everybody's on social media scrolling anyways. Everybody's sharing stuff that they love anyways. Why not make money off of this? So I think just making sure that you're doing your due diligence of sharing the whole picture, I would encourage as well. Does anybody have any other questions or any other thoughts? Sarah, go ahead.
Sorry. I had a friend tell me just the other night that she stopped using the term silver and is calling it the friends and family rank. And so kind of just like having that mindset shift of talking to your people about, oh, this is our friends and family rank. Like it's not building a business. It's not doing that. And just kind of having that conversation too, to make that a little easier. So
I love that. Yeah, I don't ever use the word silver with people when they're first getting started. I use the word share. My mom just started the business, guys. 2 years she's been on the products. 2 years I've been telling her she needs to do this. She went to a convention with me to take care of my son and came back, and because she saw everybody else, now she's wanting to do it. So some people you need that third-party validation. But when I was sharing with her how to share, she's like, oh, you don't say sell? Oh, you don't say this? Like, those wording and making it lax makes a difference.
Well, guys, I love this call. I love being able to talk back and forth. Sarah, thank you so much for sharing your insight with us. I will repost that template the 3 different steps, the 3 different paces that Sarah goes through that Brooke Hemingway posted on the Plexus Ambassador page. I'll do that tonight as soon as we get off of this call. But I think just you guys remembering, like, you just have to be confident in what you're doing and make sure that you're sharing in both ways about the products and the opportunity, because what you share is what you get. And so like Sarah said, as she started to focus more on sharing about the opportunity and the business and the blessings that came with that, she started to get more people that wanted to do the business and wanted to share. So I think that those things just go hand in hand. And just remember, relationship, relationship, relationship. And you know what? If that person is saying no right now, that's okay. Move on to the next person. Like, continue to grow your level 1 base, continue to love your people and be there for them, and they will come to you when it's their time. I will get this up on YouTube in the next like 24 hours. So you guys can share it with your team members that weren't able to be here. But Sarah, thank you so much. If you guys don't follow Sarah, go follow her on Instagram. What is your handle on Instagram, by the way?
Okay, the Knollenbergs. That's my last name. I need a new Instagram handle. If y'all think of one, please send it to me. But my last name is too long. No one can spell it or say it.
And then on Facebook, she's just Sarah Knollenberg as well. Okay, well, you guys, we will see you later. Accountability Group girls, this is our call for tonight. Continue to go strong. Love you guys. We will see you next week. Sarah, thank you for everything. Bye.